I'm Darrell Russett. We farm just north of Sterling in the township of Rodden. We got about 100 cows that we calve here, and I like calving them on fresh rye. We plant a little piece of rye every year for them to calve on, and the calves go through our own corn-fed beef program. The majority of the cattle come out of Manitoba from a background yard. We buy calves and put them in a background yard, and that way the cattle come when we're ready, around 900 pounds. I like 900 pounders or 920s, and that way it's easy for us to make 2 turns a year. We have a couple old barns that we still use. We've extended the roof to a roof line past the feeder so the pens stay drier and the runoff doesn't run through the yard. So this is our number 5 ration that qualifies for the Ontario corn-fed beef program. It's mainly made up of corn silage, high moisture corn and cob meal from our own farm, and a little bit of distillers. We grow roughly 700 acres of corn. Close to half of that would be cut for cob meal. And all the ground before planted gets a coat of manure. This pit's cob meal, and we keep around 600 ton per pit, and we'll usually put up at least 3 pits of cob meal a year. So with the liquid fertilizer, we still are allowed to apply 6 to 9 ton of pen pack manure a year. Okay, we're planting about 140 acres of no-till beans with in a 30-inch rows, manure coverage before beans are planted. We like the bean straw for our bedding packs. We're planting about 150 acres of wheat every year, no-tilled into corn silage ground after a coat of manure. The wheat, we used to feed the wheat, but now we feed mainly wheat shorts and sell our wheat. We value our straw for the bedding packs. These are corn stalk bales from our own fields. We grow a lot of corn, soybeans, and wheat straw, which all that stuff is baled to bed all the barns because they're all bedding pack. That all goes back on the fields with manure in it. So planting rye after corn stalks with a no-till drill is a great way for covering the ground for the winter. We like growing rye for cover crops or feed because it leaves the ground in a real loose state, easy to replant into. So this is planting rye after corn silage ground. We plant a fair bit of rye for harvest, and all of our corn silage ground and wheat ground will be planted into rye for a cover crop. Crop that we harvest will be planted at 100 pound to the acre. The cover crop will be just planted at 30 pound. We plant rye in the fall to come up with a nice clean spot for cows to calve in the spring. When the density of the rye is fairly thick come spring, the cows come home to that ground and calve where the disease pressure is very low. After the fall rye density is established, then we'll spread manure on that again in the spring before it starts to grow. Once the growth is there and we cut it, then it's all ready for planting corn into. So we harvest the rye in the spring, roughly 12 ton to the acre of rye. We wait till it heads because we don't need the protein, we need the fiber. We use dump trucks and dump wagons to haul it home and put it in a pit.